What is going on, everybody? You are watching the Ravens Rundown live show coming at you from a very chilly Studio E, downtown Dallas Chat Sports Studios. We got Jack Lotteray on the ones and twos. I am your host, Joey Petersen, and we got a ton to talk about on today's show. We're going to start off with a double dose of mock drafts. Mel Kiper Jr. released his third, and Daniel Jeremiah of NFL Network released his third mock draft of the 2025 NFL offseason. I'm going to react to their picks, tell you what I may or may not have done, and may or may not have agreed with their selections. Then up after that, we've got my draft target rankings. I'm going to give you my 5 players I think realistically could be there at pick number 27. And the 5 players I think are the top targets for the Baltimore Ravens. And then we're going to follow this one up with our live Ravens mailbag. We've taken a week hiatus since the last one. It's back. It's better than ever, and it needs you guys to help us out. So if you got any questions, use hashtag Ravens in the comment section down below. Before we get into anything else, though, I need you to do something for me. I've asked you this on the VODs. We haven't gotten to talk about it on live yet because it happened like what, Jack? 10 minutes after we signed off? Grade the DeAndre Hopkins signing for me in the comment section down below. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know where you stand. I give it an A. I give it an A because it's a $5 million contract that has the ability to get up to 6. And if it does get up to 6, 2 things happen. He gets paid only $1 million more, and you get a really good year out of DeAndre Hopkins. So you're like, okay, whatever, we'll pay him $6 million. Doesn't matter to me. I think that he's a wonderful option at wide receiver 3. I think he gives Lamar Jackson something he's never had before in his career, and that is a jump ball, goal line, high point wide receiver. And, I mean, he's cheap. I can't say it better than that, okay? Darius Slayton got $12 million a year. He had less receptions, less yards, less touchdowns than DeAndre Hopkins did in 2024. Let's get to the comment section. We got Brian Cooks in here, Jay Leak, C.E. Ronaldo, that guy, James Green, Brian Cook. We got Darlene Harris. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Good to see you all here on this fine Tuesday. Moggs is in the chat as well. Maddox, that guy was the first one in here. Love that. We got a lot of A's, a lot of B's. Jalik gives it an A. C.E. Ronaldo gives it a B. Brian Cook gives it a B. James Green gives it an A. That guy says B, changes it to A. Abdi Hassan says B. Darlene Harris says A. So we got a lot of people that are happy with it. Roscoe McGill gives it a D. Roscoe, D? Okay, Roscoe, I want you to explain to me why it's a D. Because this is a two-way conversation. We're live right now, so you talk to me, I talk to you. Let me know what you think down below, what the signing is. And if it's a bad grade, tell me why. Roscoe, I want to hear from you. C.E. Ronaldo says, Von Miller is good, but he's just a linebacker. We need a good wide receiver other than Hopkins because he is washed. C.E. Ronaldo, I don't necessarily think he's that washed. Just because you're worse than you were doesn't mean you are washed. I mean, yeah, he's not going to put up 1,500 yards, but he still put up 600 yards and scored like 6 touchdowns this past year. That's not washed, in my opinion. Washed is like 300 yards receiving and a touchdown. That's washed. That's not DeAndre Hopkins. Antonio Brittain says A. Sports fan, very generic. I love it. He says B. Roscoe, I'm still waiting to hear from you. Why? Oh, he says needs to hustle more. So just because he doesn't hustle that much, you're giving this signing a D? Come on, man. You can't be that hard on him. Don Rock gives it a B. I'm cool with a B. I'm cool with the B's. I give it an A-. You guys keep letting me know as you flood into the show what you're giving it down below. We got a $10 super chat from my man James Green, and I don't even have it in here with me. Jack, I got to ask Trizzy Trace to bring it for me. Do me a favor. Bring my Ravens piggy bank and the blue cup behind my monitor. There we go. James Green, his 10th super chat in his time on YouTube. We appreciate you, my friend. C.E. Ronaldo saying that's true, but we don't know if he'll handle the pressure. That's fair, but he's a wide receiver 3. Like, I think we're grading this on the scale you guys are of him being a wide receiver 1. He's not that. He's this team's third best wide receiver. Jay Nizzle says an A. Let's get to that super chat from James Green. $10. No message on that, James. We're appreciative of it. And, James, you have entered the bank, my friend. If anybody wants to follow suit of James, all it takes is a $10 super chat. Reminder, we'll be raffling off the bank when we're live for the NFL draft. It's only $10 to enter. We've got like 77 names in it. One of you guys will be going home, will be the lucky winner. And if you want to get a chance to do it, just say $10 super chat. James, we're going to have someone bring the bank back to me in just a second, but thanks so much for that $10 super chat again. And if you guys want to be like James, get in the bank, all it takes is a $10 super chat. If you guys want to get in our mailbag, we're doing at the end of the day show, use hashtag Ravens in the comment section. So all you got to do is ask me a question, use hashtag Ravens, and then we'll get that question answered. Or you can be like James, super chat in. It can be however many you want it to be. It can be $1, $2, doesn't matter. And we will guarantee that you get your question on today's show. So anything you got, it could be about Derrick Henry contract extension. It could be, Lamar Jackson stat projection. It could be free agency rumors, trade rumors, whatever you have questions for me, ask them in the comment section down below and use hashtag Ravens while you're down there. Also, Trace is on his way with the piggy bank. Shout out to you, Trace. Let me know, what round should the Ravens take a wide receiver? I think it got pushed back a little bit with DeAndre Hopkins, but again, you got to remember, that's a one-year deal. Most likely, if I were a betting man, DeAndre Hopkins is not a Raven in 2026, and so you still have to get better at that position. I still would love to see them take in a top 4 rounds. I think edge rusher, cornerback, interior offensive line, I think at the top 3, and I think round 4, you go cornerback. Y'all let me know down below, though. Sports Fan says, I think we know their offensive lineman. Sports Fan, you are not wrong. Roscoe upped his grade to a B-. Shout out to you, Roscoe. Happy I could convince you. Please, please, please don't get rid of Mark Andrews, says Roscoe. Roscoe, I don't think it's going to happen. After the $4 million roster bonus that he was given yesterday, I think that pretty much guarantees him to be on this roster come 2025. Papa Shook, as always, coming in hot with a question. If Tucker is out, I think he will be. Do we trade for a kicker, sign a free agent, or draft? Thank you so much, Trizzy Trace. Always bringing the heat. Hey, we just had someone enter. That's why we got to get it. James Green, $10 super chat. I'm getting your name on this coin, my friend. James Green. Is that with an E? Yes, it is with an E. E-E-N-E. Boom, boom, boom. James, everybody say it with me. Jack, you as well. You, my friend, are in the bank. Yes, sir. Our first addition to the bank in a while. Hall of Fame forever. Shout out to you, my friend, James Green. Papa Shook, hashtag Ravens. So I think that I don't think they'll draft a kicker unless they keep all 11 of their draft picks. If they keep all 11 of their draft picks, they'll draft a kicker. I don't think they will, though. And if they don't draft a kicker, they're not going to trade for one. They'll sign one in free agency. That worked, honestly, decently well for a good amount of teams over this past little bit, over this last season. So I think that's kind of what they'll do. If you want the Ravens to draft an edge, while we're talking about drafts, and I'm about to talk about drafts a good bit in these next couple segments, if you want them to draft an edge, go ahead and like the video. I personally think that is the second biggest need on this team behind corner. And if you agree with me, want them to draft an edge, go ahead, give me a thumbs up button on today's show. 36 people watching, 16 likes. Let's see if we can get that to 20. Hey, James, great question, great comment. The hashtag Ravens has to be together. There can't be a space in between them. So just ask that question again and just put hashtag Ravens together. I like it, though. I agree. I don't think he'll be available, unfortunately. His stock has risen like crazy over the last couple of months. We're at 16 likes still, 41 people watching. Now we're at 17. Let's do our best to get to 20. Once we get to 20, we'll get started with today's show. Starting off with our double dose of mock drafts. We got producer Jack in the building, and we're about to get it going right here. Jack, is your mic working?
Yes, it is.
It is working. Jack, say hello to people, and what do you think the Baltimore Ravens should do in the first round of the draft?
I think they should get us a heater because it's so freaking cold in here. I mean, it really depends on who's available. Yeah. I think the thing that's good about the Ravens situation, well, it's bad, but it's good for the draft, is that they can go in multiple directions.
Yeah.
So they're not tied to one position like some other teams, where if the top of that position gets drafted before they come up, well, then they're kind of screwed. Where the Ravens have multiple different positions of need that they can go after. So I think they're going to be rather flexible. It's going to be interesting. I think they're one of the more interesting teams in the draft at the back half of the first round.
Yeah, 100%. There's a lot of places to go at number 27. It's not very predictable. They do have a lot of needs they need to fill. The good thing is also I really believe the only needs are on the defensive side of the ball other than the interior of the offensive line, right? You got to get a little bit of depth there. Other than that, I think if you're drafting 10 times, 7 picks should be on the defensive side of the ball this year. All right, lots of great questions. We'll get to your questions in our third segment. But as of right now, we got a double dose of mock drafts to get to. Mel Kiper Jr., Daniel Jeremiah. Jack, are we ready to roll? All righty, let's get it. Coming at you right now. We've got a double dose of mock drafts to get to on today's show because ESPN's Mel Kiper Jr. and NFL Network's Daniel Jeremiah, they both released their third editions of their offseason mock drafts. Who do they have the Ravens taking? Who do I think they should have had the Ravens taking? That's what you'll get on today's episode. Before we get into the picks, let's recap what Mel Kiper Jr. has had the Baltimore Ravens do in his past couple of mock drafts. The first one we talked about was Siobhan Revel Jr., cornerback out of East Carolina. And then the second one, the most recent one, was Nick Emmanwori, the safety out of South Carolina. He's loving the Carolinas. And both of them secondary. I do believe Nick Emmanwori will probably get selected a little bit higher than 27. But hey, that was a couple weeks ago. His stock wasn't near as high. What's he going to do in that third round? I'll tell you in just a little bit. Before I get into that, we are the closest you could possibly be to our Steelers Talk channel right here in this sub-battle, okay? AFC North sub-battle all month long, and we're one away from Steelers Talk. They're at 593, we're at 592. All we need is just 2 of you guys to hit the sub button that have never done it before. If you haven't, join us today. Free coverage of your favorite team every single day. It's not a better deal. You can't find one better anywhere else. And also, help us in the way. Take down our Steelers Talk channel, prove we're the best team in the AFC North right here at Chat Sports. Let's start with Mel Kiper Jr.'s mock, and he has the Baltimore Ravens taking Malachi Starks, safety out of the University of Georgia. We've had Malachi Starks taken in a mock draft before. That was CBS Sports. Now ESPN's got it. This is what Mel Kiper Jr. had to say about the safety. I've mentioned the big play woes for Baltimore's defense in the past, and the team really didn't do anything to fix him in free agency. Not very surprising. Starks has a skill set to thrive alongside Kyle Hamilton for the back end. Starks closes well to break up passes and stop the run, and he can be used over the slot if necessary. I actually have Starks ranked slightly ahead of Nick Emmanwori as the top safety in the class, even though the Ravens get Starks 9 picks after Emmanwori was selected in this scenario. So in my opinion, I think Starks is a safer play over Emmanwori. I don't think Starks necessarily has a higher ceiling than Emmanwori does just because of Nick's combination of size, speed, athleticism. But I do believe what Malachi Starks has shown me over his last 3 years at the University of Georgia, I believe he's an incredibly safe play in this first round, and I think he's going to have a phenomenal career in the National Football League. Before I get into it, I want you to do that. The comment section down below, grade the pick of Malachi Starks at pick number 27. Give him an A, B, C, D, or F in the comment section right now. Let's take a look at the stats for a second. 77 tackles this past year, 4 tackles for loss, 4 pass breakups, and an interception. And man, he's just had such a steady career as a Georgia Bulldog. Has played in 14 games or more each of the last 3 seasons, has had above 50 tackles, above 65 in 2 of his final 3. And then, you know what? The pass breakups were down a little bit, but the first 2 years, 19 pass breakups combined, 5 interceptions combined, 6 interceptions over the entirety of his 3 seasons. What I love about Malachi Starks is he's kind of a perfect blend. Because he's got the aggression of a linebacker. He loves playing run defense. He loves sneaking up to the line of scrimmage. He's very Kyle Hamilton-esque in that way. But he also has the speed of a cornerback, okay? In watching his film, there's multiple times when the cornerbacks at Georgia kind of got burned on their route. And there's Malachi Starks. His long speed is incredible, keeping up stride for stride with a wide receiver who had a 20-yard head start in front of him. Okay? He's a very, very great blend of skills. However, I do have to mention, in this most recent mock draft from Mel Kiper, James Pierce Jr. gets taken at pick number 28. And when I look at the needs of safety and edge rusher, and I compare them to each other, in my opinion, edge rusher is much more of a need. I love Kyle Hamilton. I think you have the best safety in the National Football League. I'm really, really happy with our Darius Washington, what he was able to do for this team in 2024. I know he's a restricted free agent. I know the jury's still out on whether he's going to be on this team come 2025. But you have options there. Edge is more of a need, and I think if I'm Baltimore and James Pierce is there at 28, I would not really even think twice about choosing him. And let's hear from Eric DeCosta, okay? Because remember, he said this at the NFL Scouting Combine. We're picking at 27, and there's an edge rusher, and he's the best guy, we're probably going to pick him. So the question then bears is, who does Baltimore think is better? Do they think James Pierce Jr. is, or do they think Malachi Starks is? In my opinion, I think just based off of skill, I think James Pierce Jr. is better, based off of traits, based off of ceiling. But a little bit like I was talking about with Nicky Manwari and Malachi Starks, I just think Malachi Starks is the incredibly safe option. And Eric DeCosta is going to have to weigh those two if this scenario plays out come April. Let me know in the comments section down below, what should Baltimore draft in the first round? If you think it's an edge rusher, if you want it to be an edge rusher, like the video and show me that way. If you think secondary, get in the comments section and let me know in that direction. Coming up, we got Daniel Jeremiah's selection, who he's got the Baltimore Ravens choosing in his 3rd mock draft of the NFL offseason. Before that, I got something you guys should choose, okay? It's this gray Ravens polo, which you can find at chatsports.com/Ravens polo. We've teamed up with our great partners at Fanatics. You can find it for 40% off, okay? It is a wonderful deal. It's incredibly comfortable. The weather's getting warmer in Baltimore. You know, we're taking the jackets off, taking the parkas off. It's getting into the 70s. And if you want to look your best while also supporting the best, you got to go to chatsports.com/Ravens polo to do so. It was 55. Now it's 33. You're not going to find a better offer than that. Heck, get early. You know, get shopping early on Father's Day, Mother's Day, whatever it is. Chatsports.com/Ravens polo. That link to the promo is in the comments and description of today's video. Let's talk Daniel Jeremiah now. We hit Mel Kiper Jr. with Malachi Starks. Daniel Jeremiah has the Baltimore Ravens picking Derek Harmon. First time we've heard his name, talked about his name on the channel, and I would not mind the selection. This is what Daniel Jeremiah had to say. Harmon is ultra disruptive. He plays with outstanding effort and a motor that would be appreciated in Baltimore. And he's put together quite the career at Oregon. This past year was quite the year. 45 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, and what I love most is 55 freaking pressures from the interior of the defensive line. Do you know how hard that is to do? It's incredibly impressive. So should Baltimore draft him, right? That's the question. That's what we're talking about right now. He has some good. He also has some bad. Let's start with the good news, okay? He had a 91.2 true pass set pass rush grade. Basically meaning anytime that Oregon was in a true pass rush set, he graded out at a 91.2. He had 39 hurries, which is the most in the NCAA. He had an 18.8 pass rush win rate, which led the NCAA. Again, all from the interior of the defensive line. I cannot overstate that. But with his good also came some bad, right? He was really good at getting in the backfield. He struggled at times actually making the tackles. He had a 29.8 tackling grade, bottom 12 in FBS. He had a 27.0% missed tackle rate and a stop rate that was rated 64th. Basically, all that to say, Derek Harmon is purely a pass rushing defensive tackle. Okay? Which isn't necessarily a bad thing because, in my opinion, Baltimore kind of needs that. Okay? I think he's a really good comparison to what Nnamdi Madubuike is. And when you look at this Ravens front five, I love Broderick Washington. I love Travis Jones. But they don't give you much in terms of pass rushing on the interior. And Derek Harmon could be a radically different look at that. Okay? How many times have I said this over the offseason? This team was really good at getting sacks. This team was really good at bringing the quarterback down. But if they weren't sacking the quarterback, he was kind of just sitting there, standing there with tons of time to throw. And I think Derek Harmon could bring something different, bring a little bit of attention off Nnamdi Madubuike, and then you have two really good interior defensive rushers. Pick one of those two for me in the comment section down below. Would you rather draft Malachi Starks or would you rather draft Derek Harmon? If it's Starks, go ahead and give me an MS in the comment section. If it's Derek Harmon, go ahead and give me a DH. My thought is I'd be happy with both, right? If those were the cards that this team turned in come April, I wouldn't be upset about it, right? But my problem with it is neither of those positions are a top two need, okay? This team needs an edge rusher, and this team needs a cornerback. All you got right now is Nate Wiggins, Marlon Humphrey. TJ Tampa is one of your starting cornerbacks if they played a game tomorrow. I like TJ Tampa. Think he's going to have a pretty decent future, but that doesn't do it for me, okay? And so if they had to pick one of those two, I'd go with Harmon because he can get to the passer, but I don't love either of them. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Thanks so much for watching all the way through today's video. If you guys haven't joined us by hitting that sub button for the best coverage you're going to find anywhere else on this platform, subscribe today. Bang! We got two super chats coming from my man C King, King of the Seas, saying EDC needs to use every single pick on D and O-line. Could not agree more, C King. And then he went on to saying a $5 super chat, shout out to you, my friend. Trade picks to move up in the first, get one of the best O or D linemen in the draft. I love that. I love that option. Would not mind them trading up and then drafting a guy like Mike Green. And then, you know what? They have so many draft picks to do it. Trade up. I don't want to say get rid of your picks, but use them as the assets they are to teams that are competing for a Super Bowl. Get Mike Green in the first round. And then in the second, third rounds, go ahead, get corner and get offensive line depth. And then just pick defensively for the rest of the time. And if you're picking offensively, I would not mind a wide receiver for the future. And then I also would not mind a little bit of depth on the interior or exterior of the offensive line. I think this offensive line is great, but if one of those guys go down, man, I don't want to say this team's cooked, but things won't look that great. I'll just put it that way. We got a ton of people in the comment section saying MS for Malachi Starks. James Green wants Mike Green, the edge. Would not mad. Too bad we had the GMs, huh? LOL. C-King, I'll tell you what. Let's pull together every dollar that we've got and see if we can make a bid. See if we can make a bid to own the team. Then we'll enact ourselves as general manager. I think that's probably the best option. Thanks so much for both those super chats, my friend. Adam78 said, perhaps trade up in second, fourth round. It costs too much. I would have overpaid for Lamar if I was the Ravens GM. If I was the Ravens GM, Lamar would have a contract extension right now. And it would be the same exact deal that Josh Allen just got, maybe a little bit more money. We got a ton of people here. Make sure while you guys are in here to like today's video. We got 43 people watching, 30 likes. Let's see if we can get to 35 likes. And always let me know what you're thinking down below. And if you guys haven't subscribed to us, Go ahead and do it. If you're here for the first time, we go live every single Tuesday. Other than that, we give you videos every single day of the week, Monday through Sunday, rain or shine. I don't care if I'm sick. This upcoming Sunday, it's my anniversary with my wife. I'll actually be gone all weekend, but you're still going to get videos every single day. Make sure to use hashtag Ravens or Super Chat to get on today's mailbag. If you guys have a question and you Super Chat in, just like C King and just like James did, we'll guarantee that your questions get on today's show. And if you have any question you want to ask, go ahead, type hashtag Ravens in the chat, and we'll try to get your questions on the show. Jack will look at them. He'll pick the best ones, and those are the ones that are going to make it. All righty. It is time for our second segment of the day. I give you the best options that the Ravens have with the 27th pick, in my opinion. Again, thanks so much, every single one of you guys, for being here. If you haven't already, hit that sub button, like today's video. And Jack, are you ready to roll with segment number 2? He's ready. I'm going to get a little drink of water, and then we'll get it going. All righty. You ready? Coming at you right now. This is the Ravens Rundown. I'm your host, Joey Petersen. And on today's show, we're going to rank the Ravens options with the number 27 overall pick. You know, having to pick this late means you're going to have a good bit of people to choose from. And it's going to be hard to kind of project who's going to be there. So I'm going to start with projecting who I don't think will be there. Okay? Mike Green, Malachi Starks, Shamar Stewart. I think Mike Green, his stock has risen incredibly over the last couple of weeks. Malachi Starks, I think when it comes down to it, when it gets closer to the draft, this is only a guy that's going to go up and up and up based on his track record and what he was able to show at Georgia. And then Shamar Stewart, with how he tested at the combine, with what he was able to do on the 40-yard dash, all his splits, everything, he's going to get selected probably even before 20. So I don't think any of those guys make it to 27. You will not hear me say those names for the rest of today's video. Before we get into my top targets, though, I need you to help me out. I need you to help me get some brownie points because it is Kennedy's and my 1-year wedding anniversary. And so to show her she's the best and that you think it too, like today's video. That's going to earn me some brownie points. I could use it. Thanks so much for telling us congrats by hitting that thumbs up button. Let's start with Nick Emanwari, the number 1 target option at number 27. And I'm basically ranking these guys on, whose ceilings I think are the highest in the National Football League. And I think Emanwari is possibly a top 10 talent. Okay, I think if you had his ceiling, if you had his athletic traits, his abilities, and you played any other position other than safety, I think he'd be a top 10 pick, okay? Because you got to look at what he was able to do at the combine. Look at that RAS score. It is as high as it could possibly go. It is a 10 out of 10. He ran a 4.440. He also jumped 43 inches. He had a broad jump of 11 feet. And in my opinion, he's just a younger version of Kyle Hamilton. Okay, I don't think Kyle Hamilton has near the athleticism that Emanwari does, but they're both so useful. They both are Swiss Army knives. They both can play kind of anywhere on the field, whether that's free safety, strong safety. They could go up to the line and rush the passer. They could play in the slot. They could play at the nickel. You could put them anywhere. So putting a guy like Nick Emanwari on the field with Kyle Hamilton would be incredibly dangerous. Name them for me in the comment section down below. Who's your number 1 player that could fall to pick number 27? I said mine's Nick Emanwari. You let me know yours in the comment section. Number 2, a guy we've talked about a lot on this channel, and a guy who I think has a genuine shot to be a Baltimore Raven, is edge rusher James Pierce Jr., okay? And he's fallen down, I believe, in the past couple of months, past year, honestly, because he didn't have the 2024 that everybody expected him to have, right? But with that 40 time of 4.47, with his size of 6'5", sure, he's not the heaviest guy at 245, but I still believe that he is worth taking a shot on in round 1 at pick number 27. Now, I will admit to you, I saw this in the comment section, and I heavily agree. I am a little bit scared that he's a David Ojabo 2.0. We all remember the scouting reports on Ajabo. We all remember talking about the athleticism of Ajabo when he was coming into the draft. But I think it's different because of the volume of pressures that James Pierce was able to put up in his senior season. He logged 55 of them in 12 games played for Tennessee. And you compare that to Kyle Van Noy in 17 games played, 18 games played for Baltimore with only 47. Now I get it. It's NCAA offensive lines compared to NFL offensive lines. I'm not saying he's going to come in here and be a better pass rusher than Kyle Van Noy, but this team struggled with getting consistent pressure to the quarterback. They struggled with that in the playoffs. It's one of the reasons they weren't able to commit turnovers. It's one of the reasons that the Buffalo Bills were able to do a lot of what they were able to do offensively. And I think James Pierce Jr. comes in, and in year one, he changes that about this team. He changes that about this defense, okay? Let me know and prove it to me in the comment section. Do you want the Ravens to draft an edge rusher? If so, show me by liking today's video, okay? Hit that thumbs up button if you're like me and you want them to draft a pass rusher. Coming up, we got more draft targets for you, okay? I give you 3 through 5. Stick around and see who I've got there. But before that, I got to talk about Prize Picks, the wonderful sponsor of today's video. And basketball season is well underway, and Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching your favorite players. You can now up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. Sign up today. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action, so join over 10 million users and sign up today. You think Steph Curry will get more than 5 3-pointers next week? What about Jokic for more than 35 points? Cook up hot takes with your friends and win real money this basketball season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks. Now, say you're not a basketball fan. Say you're more of a football fan. Well, Prize Picks still has you covered there with projections, okay? I got the more on Lamar Jackson, 3,449.5 pass yards. And I've got the less on Bryce Young, 3,299.5 pass yards as well. So head on over to Prize Picks and download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks and get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. The link to this promo is in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, run your game. Let's talk wide receiver, shall we? Okay, I know this team just signed DeAndre Hopkins. I know the wide receiver need is not as big as it was just a week ago, but Matthew Golden is going to be a star in this league. And I think that Golden in the NFL Combine probably ran his way into the top 20 at a 4.29, but I still do think there is a legit possibility he falls to 27, okay? But with his speed and with his statistics and catch radius and everything about him, man, if he's there at 27, I would not waste a second at picking him. I know there's a lot of needs on the defensive side of the ball, but this guy is going to be special. And I know you just got DeAndre Hopkins, but that's a one-year deal. You still need to worry about that position all the way in the future, okay? There's a lot of things I love about Golden. I think he's incredibly clutch. In 2 of their biggest games this year, SEC Championship against Georgia, and then the quarterfinal game against Arizona State, he combined for 15 catches, 311 yards. He's got a very big catch radius for a guy who's not necessarily that big, and he's got unreal speed. That was a 4.38 before the Combine. The Combine officially was a 4.29. This guy can absolutely burn, okay? I really, really like what he's capable of doing, and I get it. I know this team needs to pick a lot of defense, but if Golden's there at 27, I think he's too special to pass up on. What say you? Let me know in the comment section. What round should the Ravens select a wide receiver? Should it be in the 3rd, 4th, 5th maybe now after the Hopkins signing? You let me know in the comment section down below. Let's talk about a guy we haven't talked about a ton. Go blue from producer Jack. How about Kenneth Grant, defensive lineman out of the University of Michigan? And Kenneth Grant had a good season in 2024. It wasn't necessarily, I think, what everybody was kind of hoping for. 32 tackles, only 7 tackles for loss. He did log 3.5 sacks. But I look at this Ravens front 5, okay? And I really, really do like Broderick Washington. I really, really do like Travis Jones. But outside Nnamdi Madubuike, I don't think there's a guy on this interior that I'm incredibly confident in to give me solid reps, either rushing the passer or defending the run on a consistent basis. This group needs depth and it needs talent to pull attention away from Nnamdi Madubuike. Okay, I don't know what the exact number was, but Nnamdi Madubuike faced a double team on an insane amount of snaps this past season. If Kenneth Grant is right next to him on the interior of that defensive line, that doesn't happen near as often in 2025. Let's round this thing out with number 5, cornerback out of the University of Texas. We got another Longhorn in here, Jahdae Barron. Okay, and honestly, this guy might be a little bit higher because if you look at what he did in 16 games, not letting up a touchdown, 16 freaking pass breakups, and allowing a quarterback rating of 33.1. I mean, I think he's going to be so special in 2025. And what he automatically does is he fills that gap that you have at cornerback. Okay? Right now, if you look at this team's cornerback room, you got Nate Wiggins, you're confident in him. You got Marlon Humphrey, you're confident in him. But you got TJ Tampa as a starting cornerback. Now, I know we didn't get to see a ton of Tampa in 2024, but I don't think anybody can look me in the eyes and say they have a ton of confidence in Tampa starting from game one. And honestly, I think Barron is even a step up from Stevens even in year one. If you look back at what Brandon Stevens did against some of the best wide receivers in the game, all you got to do is go home, find your toaster, put a piece of toast in it, and set it for 55 minutes. Because that's what Brandon Stevens was for the entirety of 2024. I think Jahdae Barron could come in year one, game one, fill in his spot, and fill it in even better. Okay? So if you had the number 27 options, all 5 that I just gave you, pick one to draft. Is it Nick Eamon-Warry, James Pierce, Matthew Golden, Kenneth Grant, or is it Jahdae Barron? Let me know by typing their initials in the comment section down below what you would do. As always, thanks so much for tuning in, for watching every single one of these videos. I really do appreciate it. If you guys have some friends you think would enjoy the channel as well, make sure to send them this link and make sure to tell them also hit that sub button. We got another super chat from my man C King, King of the Seas. We got 2 saying first Andrews, second, fourth, fifth to move up in the first. Yeah, how far are you moving up, C King? Because I don't think I'm cool giving up your fourth and your fifth. I don't know if I love giving up the second and Andrews to move up in the first, unless you're moving up a ton. Yeah. You got to move up really far. Let me know in the comment section, C King, what you're like, how far up you're thinking that moves you up. He also said send Ronnie to Japan to learn sumo tactics. I don't think that's a bad call. I don't think that's a bad idea. Ronnie Stanley talked to the media yesterday, had a ton of great things to say. I'm really excited about him in 2025. Hope he stays healthy like he was able to do in 2024. If so, I've got a lot of confidence in this offense and what they'll be able to do. We just talked about it. I want to hear you in the comment section. Of those 5 options, who do you want? Okay? I got Papa Shook. He's saying any. He wants Nick Eamon-Warry. Moggs wants Jahdae Barron. We got Wasting Perfect Food wants Matthew Golden. We got a good little mixture. I like it. C King says, I forgot Andrews was extended. Papa Shook said, yeah, I'm not sad Stevens is gone, and New York way overpaid him. They overpaid him like crazy. It was insane, the money that he got from the Jets. I mean, but are we surprised that is a dumpster fire of an organization? Pretty well trade, GMC King says SC. SC, I kind of agree. That's a lot to give up. Also, wait, C King, you've entered the bank again, my friend, because you have put in more than $10 in Super Chats on today's show. Every $10 gets you a membership in the bank. We'll be raffling this off at the NFL Draft. $10 to enter. Thank you, producer Jack. C King, I'm going to get you on here. I think we're almost at like 80 members. We honestly might be at 80. Here we go. C King, you, my friend, again. Excuse me, I got to sneeze almost. Golly, Jack, it's crushing me. You are in the bank, my friend. Boom. Look at that, my friend. James Pierce Jr., second best edge in the draft. I love James Pierce. I love him. He's a Tennessee Volunteer. I ride for my Vols. He does have a little bit of character issues that have come out as of recently. That worries me a little bit. But, man, if he's there at 27 with his talent, it'd be hard for me to not put his card in. But if I know Baltimore, and if I know how much they value their culture, I don't know if they're going to do it. I don't know. Ty Man, the Buckeyes. Say what up, Joey. What's going on, Ty Man? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Happy you're in here. Appreciate you being a supporter of the show. Use hashtag Ravens if you guys want to get your questions on the show. Jack, do we have enough to get started? Okay, Jack says we have enough to get started, but just because we get started doesn't mean that you guys can't keep asking questions. Yeah, we're going to definitely need some more questions. So if you got anything for me, draft, free agency, personal life, the team going into 2025, contracts, anything you got, use hashtag Ravens and ask it in the chat down below. Okay, we need a couple more questions. They all got to be together. Hashtag Ravens. You give me your questions. I'll give you my answers. As always, hit that sub button. Share the stream with someone else. Hit that that thumbs up button. We're at 39 likes. By the time I get out of this cut, we need to be at 50. What'd you say, Jack? It is time. Alrighty. We got the mailbag coming at you. We ready to go? Right now. We are still in the throes of the offseason, and I need something to look forward to, okay? So if you are excited for the 2025 NFL season, just as excited as I am, I need you to spam me in the comment section down below. I need to see 100 from each and every one of you guys if you're a true Baltimore Ravens fan. On today's show, you're watching a little bit of the Ravens Rundown live show mailbag. We go live every single Tuesday. It's an absolute blast. You guys ask me questions. I answer them. You guys get a chance to get on the show. So there might be a question or two that might be a little outdated. Something may have happened in free agency over the next couple of days. Regardless, I'm giving you the best answers I've got. Starting off with our boy C King, King of the Seas. He came in with a $5 super chat saying trade picks to move up in the first. Get one of the best O or D linemen in the draft. And C King, I really, really like this possibility because you got to look at it in the fact that this team has 11 draft picks as of right now. 11! That's a lot of draft capital. And when you are a team competing for Super Bowls, your draft picks, they're assets to get you better players. Either by trading for players already in the league or trading up in the draft and using the couple fourth-round picks. This team has 4 6-rounders as of right now. You don't need 4 6-rounders. Any of those 6-rounders, most likely they're not going to fill in the gap from what you did last year to what you're looking to do in 2025. So I would love if they moved up in the first, picked a guy like Mike Green, picked a guy like, I don't know, Will Johnson maybe. I would absolutely love that move. Let's jam this team together, my friend. Next up, we got Surge Play. Hashtag Ravens. Do you think that D-Hop will improve this wide receiver room a lot or no? I think a lot is I don't want to say a stretch, but a lot is a big word. I think he's going to improve this room. I don't know how much, but I think there's going to be a 100% improvement. Because, like I've talked hundreds of times, DeAndre Hopkins gives Lamar Jackson something he's never had before. Lamar Jackson has never had a, go up, high point, get the ball over the cornerback, Moss type of receiver. He's never had that. Now he does. He's never had a goal line option like DeAndre Hopkins. And so I just think his presence in general, what he's able to do, will help this team out. And I think the attention that he will, earn from other defenses, from cornerbacks. He's not going to be the wide receiver 1 on this roster. He's not going to be the wide receiver 2. But DeAndre Hopkins still out there as a wide receiver 3 is some guy that defensive coordinators will have to plan against. So I think he improves this wide receiver room. I think he improves the wide receiver room a good bit. Would not be surprised at all. James Green is coming in with a question, more like a statement, saying hashtag Ravens, Mike Green. James, I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying. I think Mike Green is going to be a star. I think Mike Green was a guy that if you looked at the mock drafts a couple of months ago, he was a guy that might be in there at 27. Let me tell you, he's not going to be there anymore. He's moved up about every single draft. I expect him to go probably in the 15 range. So the only reason and the only way you're getting Mike Green, that you're going home with Mike Green, is if you trade up for him. I think he's worth it. I think he's worth every single draft pick you might have to trade away. I think he's worth possibly, if you have to trade away a guy like Mark Andrews. Okay, I know that's a touchy subject, but I think Mike Green's going to be a star. I think he's the best edge rusher in this draft. Next one we got from Cully Cully. Where's the picture, Cully Cully? No worries. Saying, should have the hashtag Ravens trade for Trey Hendrickson or Trayvon Walker? Great question. Trey Hendrickson, I would love for them to trade for either of those guys. Trey Hendrickson would cost you less in a trade, but you would have to extend him. I think that this team can create the cap space to do so. They just did a deal last week with Marlon Humphrey. That created $13 million, just a simple restructure. I think you'll see a lot more of those restructures. I think you could see a couple extensions coming up. That's all going to open up cap space. So you could pay a guy like Trey Hendrickson. Now, Trayvon Walker. There were some rumors earlier this week, I think it was on Monday, on Twitter, about the Jaguars possibly being open to trade talks on Trayvon Walker. I don't know what that cost would be, but I think Trayvon Walker could be really, really good in this defense. I think he fits this scheme really well. I think he fits this defense really well. His ability to win with speed and with power is something incredibly impressive. There's a reason he was a number 1 overall pick, even if you look back on it and don't think he should have been. I think Trayvon Walker would be great as a Baltimore Raven. You let me know, though. Okay, should the Ravens trade for Hendrickson? Let's go back to Trey. If you think they should, give me a T for trade. And if you think they shouldn't, go ahead, give me a P for pass. We got one of our real ones coming up next, Kimberly Harmon. She's there every single live show. Shout out to her. Hashtag Ravens, I give Coach Harbaugh one more chance to take him to the Super Bowl. If not, he's going to be fired. It's been an interesting, offseason with John Harbaugh because he's only got 1 year left on his contract. And there's no extension yet. Okay? And I expect there to be one just because of the last 17 years and what he means to Eric DeCosta, Steve Bisciotti, everybody in this organization, but there hasn't been one yet. I would not be opposed to, if you lose in the first round or only win one playoff game, to possibly move on from Harbaugh. But you always have to ask that follow-up question is who would you get to replace him? And if you don't feel confident about his replacement, then I don't think it's worth moving on just for the sake of moving on. But also don't hear me when I say, that and take that to be me saying, I love John Harbaugh, I want him to coach for this team forever, because I'm not saying that. I do think moving on and a fresh set of eyes, a fresh person in that head coaching position would be good for this team. Only if you can find someone you feel like could be better. Up next, we got 77 Jet. Hashtag Ravens, best play to contain the new Steelers look and wide receiver core. I think what the best thing to do is get a better edge rusher and get a better corner. Alrighty, I think you can still contain them because they have Arthur Smith still as their offensive coordinator. And as of right now, now this could change from the time we're recording this, Aaron Rodgers isn't a Steeler, and I don't think he's going to be a Steeler. Okay? And so, you're still probably going to have to play against Russell Wilson, possibly Mason Rudolph. And, I don't care if they have Jerry Rice, Michael Irvin, and Reggie Wayne in their wide receiver room. If Mason Rudolph's throwing the football with Arthur Smith calling the plays, that doesn't scare me too much. But you have to add on the defensive side of the football. Okay, so that's adding an edge rusher in the draft. That's adding a cornerback in the draft. And if they do those two things and still lock up Ardarius Washington as a safety, I feel really good about it. What else I feel really good about is this deal that's going on Fanatics right now. Chadsports.com/RavensQZip. That's where you can find it. Get this quarter zip for $25 off. It was $60. Now it's only $35. So take advantage of this deal while it's still on there, okay? Fanatics offers tons of great deals, but they come and they go. So to make sure it's still there, make sure you take advantage of it, chatsports.com/RavensQZip is where you want to go. I know that even sometimes in the spring it can be chilly in Baltimore. Make sure you've got the perfect quarter zip for working, going out, whatever you want to do. The link to this promo is in comments and description of today's video. Let's hear from Papa Shook. Saying #Ravens, if Tucker is out, I think he will be, do we trade for a kicker, sign a free agent, or draft one? I think Tucker's going to be out as well. I don't think this team's going to trade for a kicker. I think you can go ahead and rule that out. I think signing a free agency is the most probable option. I think if you look back at what Washington was able to do, at what Green Bay was able to do, both of them signed kickers like a couple weeks into the season or in the preseason. Both those kickers ended up very, very good. Both those kickers end up signing a new deal with them in the offseason. So I think that you can still find a really good kicker as a free agent. So I think that's probably what they're planning on doing. Draft would be interesting. I wouldn't rule it out if they still had 11 picks going in the draft. I don't know if they're going to. I would not be surprised if they traded them to move up in the draft or they traded them for a player over the next couple of weeks. Hopefully that's what they do. But if you go to the draft with 11 picks and the Tucker situation is still what it is, would not shock me one bit if they draft a kicker. Up next, we got Wolverine Trading. Saying #Ravens, we need a corner or edge. I love this channel and this team. Wolverine Trading, thank you so much. We love you right here on the channel. And I couldn't agree more. Those are the two number one necessities for this team going into the offseason. I think wide receiver has moved down to 4. So I think it goes corner, number 1. Honestly. Corner, edge, interior offensive line, wide receiver, interior defensive line. Okay? I think that this team needs to go into the draft and they need to say, okay, you know what? We're going to take a cornerback and an edge rusher in the first 2 rounds. We're going to take interior offensive line in the third or the second. And then after interior offensive line and maybe one wide receiver, I want every other draft pick to be defense. Defense, 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 defense. That's all I need in this upcoming draft. Espresso VR. #Ravens. How happy are you that the Ravens signed D-Hop? Espresso. I'm incredibly pumped up. I'm seeing a lot of negativity on the D-Hop signing on social media in the comment section, and I don't necessarily get it. I think people are thinking that they're signing D-Hop to be the wide receiver 1, and that's just not the case. D-Hop isn't even signed to be the wide receiver 2 on this roster. He's your wide receiver 3. Do you know how big of a step up it is from Nelson Aguilar to DeAndre Hopkins on just a 1-year, $5 million deal? It's fantastic. I love it. You didn't pay too much, and I think you're going to get a lot in return. If he gets you 606 touchdowns, I think it's worth it. Really, really excited about what D-Hop can bring to this offense. Seems he's already really excited to be there. Seems he wanted to be in Baltimore, judging by his press conference. I absolutely love the signing. SC, #Ravens, how many draft picks do we really need? 8. I wouldn't mind 8. 11, I wouldn't mind if they went into the draft with 11. If I'm Eric DaCosta, I'm not going into the draft with 11 picks. I'm using those to get something in return. I wouldn't mind 8 draft picks. I would go offense 3 of them, defense 5 of them. Maybe offense 2 of them, defense 6 of them. But if they go in with 11, I'm going offense 3 or 4, defense 8 or 7. Up next, we got Jarmo saying, Ravens, if we draft a corner like Barron and get some depth on defense, we could have the best defense in the NFL. Could not agree more. I think Barron is a star. I think he's going to come in here, and in year 1, he's going to be a better player than Brandon Stevens is right now. What he was able to do in 16 games, only letting up 250 yards, having 16 pass breakups. In a 16-game season, he's durable, he's special, he's really, really long, he's really, really fast. I think he's got an incredibly high ceiling, and I hope that's with the Baltimore Ravens. Last question of the day, coming up from SPAC Jerry, saying, are the #Ravens going to extend Lamar Jackson? I think that they will. I don't know. I hope that they will. Eric DaCosta still hasn't made the trip to Florida. As we know, Lamar Jackson represents himself. I just think from a cap space perspective, it makes a ton of sense. If you extend Lamar Jackson, you could save like $15 million in cap space this year. Lamar Jackson's cap hit in 2026 is like $73 million. It's a fourth of the cap space for that team next year. And so they're not going to be able to go into next year doing that. He will get an extension sometime soon. I think you just got the perfect framework from Josh Allen. Just do that exact same deal, add a couple more million onto it. Maybe a couple more million guaranteed. Lamar Jackson deserves it. I do not want to see Lamar Jackson play for another team as long as I'm on this earth. Lock him down, extend him for as long as you need to. I hope that happens soon. What would you pay Lamar Jackson? Let me know in the comment section down below. Would you give him 61 a year, 62 a year? Because I would. Okay, I would do it without even blinking. You let me know your answer in the comment section. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button before you're on your way out. We got the best coverage you're going to find right here on the Ravens Rundown. If you haven't joined us already, it's easy, it's free. Do it right now. Hit that sub button. There we go. That is our third and final segment. Y'all let me know what you would pay Lamar Jackson. We got Papa Shook saying, and a machete. Don't know what that means. Oh, give Andrew Voorhees the crazy Ray Lewis face mask from 2012. They should extend Lamar and Hammy if they can. Would save a lot of money in the next couple of years. I expect a Kyle Hamilton and Tyler Linderbaum extension to happen soon as well. I'd give him 70-year mil if I was a GM just so he'd never leave us. It's a lot, Papa Shook, but I get what you're saying. I really do. Trade up and get one of the best players of the first round, says Kimberly Harmon. Hey, Sam. Oh, we're about to be done. We just finished the last one. Sorry. Y'all heard us. We are almost getting out of here. Before you guys do with us, as I guess with us, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, okay? Make that thumbs up button. Hit that thumbs up button because come Sunday, it is Kennedy's and my 1-year anniversary. March 23rd, 2024 was the day. Jack's clapping for us. Thank you, Jack. We love. We love Kennedy. She's a constant, real one in the chat during the watch parties. So if you love her, if you love me, and if you love, go ahead, like the video. It can help me win a couple of brownie points, get me out of the doghouse. I'm in there sometimes. And you'd be surprised, Jack. You'd be surprised. It's inevitable. There's no way to not ever be. I'm not saying I'm in there a lot. I'm just saying I'm in there from time to time. Nah, once a month. Well, define doghouse. How do you define doghouse? Oh, then no, that's never happened. But she's been mad at me. See, I define doghouse. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, then I've never done that. But she gets mad. She gets mad at me a good bit. Yeah, that's fair. I've never been in the doghouse. But anyway, regardless, make sure to like the video. Appreciate you guys. Still got 52 people on here. Can we get to 50 likes before we sign off? I think we can as well. He's in the doghouse now, says C. King. Ain't that a song? Papa Shook says Joey Deaf in the doghouse. Brian Cook says, yes, sir. That Ray Lewis mask could be a fire on offensive lineman. I could not agree more. 54 people watching. It's free to hit that thumbs up button. We got 43 now. Can we get it in the next minute? We'll do a minute countdown. And if we can get 50 likes in the next minute. Oh, we're at 45. 5 away. 5 likes in 60 seconds. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Help me out. Help me out. Help me out. Yeah, I think that Ray Lewis face mask on anybody would be super cool, especially an offensive lineman. You got to be linebacker. You got to play in the box. So you got to be a fullback, a linebacker, an offensive lineman, or a defensive lineman. Any of those positions, that Ray Lewis face mask would look sick. I'm going to start a GoFundMe to get Andrew Voorhees a Jason mask to wear pregame. I like the stream. As soon as we started, Papa Shook can always count on you, my friend. We're 4 likes away. We got 20 seconds left. Come on. 20 seconds left to like it up. Can we get there? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got 3 seconds. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. We'll give it a little bit of time to delay and recalibrate. Let me refresh. We're still at 46. That's okay. We came close. If you're not going to like it by now, then you're probably not going to like it. That's okay. Just a bunch of haters. You guys hate Kennedy and I, and you want us to get divorced. I get it. I get it. That's what you're saying. That's what you're telling me. All righty, we're going to get on out of here. Appreciate every single one of you guys for joining us. We'll be back live again on Tuesday. We'll get videos for you the rest of this week. Make sure to tune in to all of them. Like, comment, do all that stuff. Share it with your friends as well. For producer Jack, I'm Joey Petersen. Y'all have a great night, and God bless.